Siddhas, ordinary people, extraordinary freedom. Are we honoring truth or merely honoring the costume of truth? Many people grow up believing that true spiritual realization belongs only to monks, that enlightenment requires renunciation, that one must leave behind family, love, ordinary work, and worldly life. To be truly awakened, one must step away from being fully human. Holiness, in many minds, is associated with robes, temples, monasteries, celibacy, silence, and visible sacrifice. The enlightened one is imagined as someone who has left the world behind. But across many spiritual traditions, especially Mahayana Buddhism, Vajrayana, and ancient yogic lineages, there exists another figure, the Siddha, the Mahasiddha. Not merely a monk, not merely a teacher, but one who has realized truth so deeply that the world no longer enslaves them. And many of them were not monks. They had families, partners, children, professions, responsibilities, human relationships. They experienced love, loss, failure, disappointment, pressure, the full weight of ordinary life. Outwardly, they looked ordinary. Inwardly, they were radically free. They did not escape life, they transformed it. Love was not the obstacle, attachment was. Work was not the prison, unconsciousness was. Family was not bondage, clinging was. Suffering was not punishment, it was often the doorway. If understood rightly, everything could become part of the path. This is why more and more people around the world today are becoming drawn to the teachings of Siddhas. Not because they respect monks less, but because they are searching for a spirituality that survives real life. A wisdom that understands heartbreak, marriage, parenthood, financial pressure, responsibility, loneliness, human complexity, not from theory, but from direct experience. Because these are not distractions from awakening. They are the field of awakening itself. An old Zen saying expresses this beautifully. Before enlightenment, carry water, chop wood. After enlightenment, carry water, chop wood. The outer form of life may remain the same. The difference lies in the one who lives it. Before awakening, we carry life with attachment, ego, fear, and inner burden. After awakening, we may still love, work, raise children, grieve, and struggle, but we are no longer possessed by them. Life remains ordinary, but the consciousness within it is no longer the same. This challenges a deep spiritual assumption found across cultures, that only renunciation leads to truth, that spiritual authority belongs primarily to those who withdraw from ordinary life, that robes prove realization. This is what we might call monastic supremacy, or the ascetic ideal. The belief that holiness belongs mainly to those who leave the world. But is that truly so? The path of the monk is sacred. Discipline, renunciation, simplicity, and devotion have guided countless people toward truth. It deserves deep respect. But perhaps it is not the only path. There is another path, not leaving the ocean, but learning how to stand in the middle of the waves without drowning. The monk may understand truth through distance from the world. The Siddha understands truth through complete presence within it. One leaves the storm, the other becomes still inside the storm. Both paths have dignity. But for modern people, those who must work, raise families, pay bills, endure heartbreak, and continue showing up, the Siddha often feels closer. more human, more reachable, more honest. Because the question today is often not, how do I escape life, but how do I live fully in this world without losing my soul? How do I transform love, grief, responsibility, and failure into awakening, instead of allowing them to become chains? This is why the figure of the Siddha matters again. Not because Siddhas are new, but because they speak from where ordinary people actually stand. In Mahayana Buddhism, this resembles the Bodhisattva, one who does not seek liberation only for oneself, but returns to the world to serve others. Not staying because they are trapped, but staying because there is nothing left to escape. Even today, many of the most respected spiritual voices in the world do not wear robes. They are not monks. They are householders, teachers, thinkers, quiet guides. They live ordinary lives while carrying extraordinary inner freedom. What people trust in them is not appearance, but clarity, compassion, stillness, presence, integrity, freedom. Yet many societies still struggle to accept this. We ask, if they still have a family, how can they be realized? If they still live in the world, how can they be free? As if spiritual truth must wear a uniform, as if awakening requires a costume. And perhaps this is why so many people fail to recognize the real thing. Because when we worship form, we stop seeing essence. When we become devoted to appearance, we may reject the truly awakened, even if they are standing right in front of us. Perhaps the true teacher is not always the one on the altar. Perhaps they are living quietly beside us, washing dishes, raising children, paying rent, grieving loss, and yet inwardly utterly free. So perhaps the real question is not who wears the robe, but who is truly awake? Are we honoring truth or merely honoring the costume of truth? Tour Nature Connect.